Alright, what's up y'all, it's LakerFan here. As I about to title today's video, we're here to showcase the best value for every attribute rating in NBA 2K23. So this is a video that did extremely well for me last year when we posted it extremely late in the year. I'm talking like it was 3 months ago to this day. So obviously I would like to get this out to you guys a little bit earlier in this year, and these will be my early impressions. It may change later in the year. But with this video, I want to bring you guys what I think is the best budget and best value for every rating in 2K23 as far as everything from top to bottom. Close shot, driving lane, driving dunk, standing dunk, and so on and so forth, all the way down to the shooting, playmaking, and defense. So I hope y'all enjoyed the video. If you do, feel free to drop a like, sub if you're new, so noties, all that good stuff. And like always, let's try this one to 2,000 likes. I'm sure this will be a video that has some good longevity throughout the whole course of the year. And again, if you're watching this maybe even months from now, feel free to drop a like as well. Now, I want to say, first and foremost, do not pay attention to the build, the height, the weight, the wingspan, any stuff like that. Literally just look at the ratings that we are breaking down one by one from top to bottom. I understand it's going to be a little bit stupid of a build and stuff like that to have a 6'5" that has 67 speed. Doesn't matter. It's not what we're looking at. I want you guys to pay attention to the close shot, and again, we're talking about all this stuff from the minimums to the maximums as far as the ones that are extremely important. So just use your imagination a little bit. This is not being theoretical about a 6'5" for every single thing we talk about, okay? So anyway, for close shot, I believe 75 is a nice little threshold to hit. However, at 76, you get an extra badge point. I think this is something that generally gives you a lot of the really good badges. As you can see, fast twitch on silver. At this 73, you also get masher. And like I said, at 86, you just get that extra badge cap. So it's definitely the right area. I've also used this myself and can vouch for it on my 6'11". It still works plenty fine. It's nothing amazing. This is going to be something that you can reliably put on a guard build or an ISO build. And when you hit them with that little rim run and then they have to go flying by you for a chase down, this is a very reliable close shot to be able to hit stuff. But let's talk about the maximum as far as like the really good budget best value you can possibly get. It's really going to be around 95 96 if we're being completely honest. Like if you're talking pro-am centers and you want to be elite with the mashing, like extremely good with it, obviously you're going to want something like 96 where you can get masher and fast twitch on Hall of Fame. It's literally as simple as that. However, anything past that, there's really no point. So 96 is pretty much where you cap out at, and it's the best value as far as the dominant inside centers, ones that are really going to be mashing out in the paint and trying to go crazy on those 7 threes. All right, moving on to driving layup. I'm vouching for 80 really heavily. This is one that gives you a lot of good layup animations. Honestly, I know that long athlete is at 88, and that's going to be the other cap that I'm going to vouch for. But realistically, the fact that you can still get things like Circus and Jelly at 80 is extremely good in my opinion. Jelly is looking real nice for me, and even Circus 2 is really fun to play with as well, but also still even competitive in the sense of if you don't like hop dunks. I think hop dunks is the only thing that Circus is a little bit more flashy for, so to say, but other than that, they're both very good at like spins and Euros and stuff like that. Big fan of them too. So I think 80 is by far like a very comfortable attribute cap that you can shoot for as far as a value rating for this. As far as driving dunk goes, I do want to give you guys a quick little warning. With most builds, if you only put 65 driving dunk on it, chances are you don't have enough finishing badges to get limitless takeoff. So this is where I'm also going to say, if you don't plan to put a lot of finishing badges on your build, I would recommend to not even upgrade driving dunk and just put a lot into driving layup instead. You can still run things like Pro Touch on Hall of Fame. For most builds, it is a tier 1 badge as well, I should mention, at least maybe taller ones. But for that matter, Pro Touch is extremely good paired with driving layup. So one can make the case that the bare minimum and the best rating as far as the budget and the value would go for driving dunk is really 25. For that matter. But at 65, you do get limitless takeoff on bronze, and you get quick drops off 2. So quick drops off 2 is a plenty good animation. It's not extremely good like quick drops off 1 would be at 80 driving dunk. And for that matter, my next best value is actually going to be 85. So as you're going to see, at 84, you get pro contact dunks. This is paired with the vertical requirements as well. I believe it's 70 and 75 for the off 1s and off 2s. So at 85, you're able to get silver posterizer. I think that's another nice little threshold to reach. After that, I guess 86 for limitless takeoff, but I'm gonna be real with you. I don't really think, if you use contact dunks in this game, you're gonna see it and you're gonna feel it, because I can vouch for this myself. I've probably contact dunked the most people in this game so far, of anybody who's played it. And honestly, I will say, you don't really need gold limitless takeoff if you're going to be on some basic slasher stuff where you just have pro contact dunks. I'm telling you guys, you're not starting these dunks from super far, crazy away, or anything like that. You're generally probably just be doing quick drops off 1, and literally, quick drops off 1, you only need probably bronze or silver limitless takeoff to be able to utilize it in the best way anyway. Gold does not enhance your quick dropping at all. But hey, if you want to go for 86, that's on you. You can totally do it. I think 85 or 84 is probably a better budget. 84 for the chance that maybe you can't even afford to run posterizer anyway. So maybe you try and get contact dunks without it. It's possible. I've done contact dunks without like posterizer on a 93. As far as 84 is probably a little bit more difficult. But anyway, after that, I think 93 is where you get the elite slasher type stuff. So like the elite contact dunks are at 92. As you can see, for generally most builds, you're going to be able to get this extra badge cap at 93, and you get gold posterizer unlocked as well. I think 93 is looking real good for the elite slashers, like I said. And it's really last year's 92. 92 was literally this exact same thing. Gold posterizer. I think it was gold slithery as well. Slithery finisher it was called. And then it also at 92 gave you elite contact dunks. So this year, pretty much the same thing, just 93 in my opinion. Now you could go all the way up to 99, but personally this stuff just gets way too expensive for my liking to have to go all the way to 99 driving dunk. I will say though, it looks to be really good. When I have takeover on my slasher with 93, which means my takeover is letting me get to 99 driving dunk off the +8 that I get for it, it really does go crazy. I'm not gonna lie, that green meter or just the dunk meter is enhanced extremely well, but I gotta say, I just don't think it's worth it as far as the budgeting goes. Speaking of an extremely good budget, 45 standing dunk is going to give you the 2 best standing dunk packages in the game, if you ask me, the basic ones. And the reason I say that, they're extremely, like, they're very basic for that matter. They're not very easy to block. They're really quick. They're just efficient. And 45, I've used them on both my builds for that matter. At the very beginning, I had a 6'11" that had 45 standing dunk. I didn't upgrade it all the way is pretty much what I'm getting at. Like, the maximum was 90 for me to upgrade, but I only had 45 off the rip. And then same with, I now have the 6'9", and that's what I have currently is 45 standing dunk. Again, the max is 70, but it is what it is. Like I said, 45, I've been using it a lot, and it's extremely usable as far as activating standing dunks. If you're an ISO guard out there or something like that, 45 is very good budget, 100%. The next threshold that I have for standing dunk is going to be 90. It's going to give you the elite big man contact dunks paired with a decent enough vertical as well. I'm not exactly sure off the top of my head what the vertical requirement is, but I believe it's 75 for the vert. But anyway, you could go to 91 for this extra badge cap as well. This stuff up here does get expensive though, I will not lie. Like the standing dunk and driving dunk get extremely expensive in these like top thresholds and categories, just like 3-pointer does as well. But anyway, like I said, I think standing dunk is very all in or nothing, like 45 standing dunk or 90. Anything in between, it feels a little bit useless, to be honest. I mean, maybe you'll activate them a little bit more than you would 45, but honestly, I just think it's not worth, unless you're just forced into doing it, because as you can see, if you go up to 93 driving dunk, you are forced into like 38 standing dunk. So at this rate, you may as well just go up a couple more ticks to that 45 for being real. So that's just how I see that. For post control, I'm gonna be real, I think the best budget is 25. Like if you're gonna come out here and you want to like work people, the thing is you can still work them really good. Like as you can see, most builds get bronze drop stepper and bronze back down punisher post spin technician on bronze, like for the tier 1. Now in some situations, you probably won't be able to achieve that based on your height. But I gotta say, as long as they don't go for steals, you can easily work people with 25 post control. I've seen it on both my builds already so far, as it's been one of the last things I wanted to upgrade on either of them. But I will say, as far as the other thresholds that are worth anything, I think 70 is really good. You're going to see you can get post spin technician and drop stepper on the next level. So like, for instance, silver drop stepper right there, gold post spin technician right there. The next one, in my opinion, would be 80, which, as you can see, I mean, just from 75 to 80 is crazy. Like, you get Dream Shake, Drop Stepper, Back Down Punisher, and Posterizer on a whole nother level. And as you can see, at specifically 80, you get Back Down Punisher and Post Spin one level higher, even just from the difference of 79 to 80. So, in my opinion, like I said, this moves in a either 25, 70, or 80 threshold, in my opinion. Maybe if you want to go all the way to the max to be able to get Drop Stepper, as you can see, it's 87 Post Control. Same with, as you can see, Back Down Punisher is 87. This build maxes out at 86, unfortunately, but either way, 87 is probably the absolute maximum you should ever put your post control, in my opinion, unless you're literally a post scorer, and you are literally the only offensive option that you have on the court, or maybe you play 1v1. In that case, obviously go ahead and put it all the way up to the max, but this is the budget, this is the value video. So like I said, it's really 87, 80, 70, or 25. I know a lot of different thresholds to reach right there as far as what I'm suggesting, but that's pretty much my insight on stuff like that as well. So moving along, mid-range. I would say the absolute maximum that I'm vouching for mid-range is pretty much 81, if we're being real. This is the only badge that is tied to only mid-range, and it's literally Midi Magician. Now, Midi Magician, in my opinion, is only a good badge if you're really planning to do a lot of 2v2 fading off of screens, or if you're planning to do post fades, etc., stuff like that. I mean, honestly, it depends on your playstyle, obviously. But like I said, I think for me, I'm vouching for 81 mid-range as the best budget, best value, 100%. Other than that, though, if you want, I would say just go ahead and put it to the absolute minimum that it has to be forced up with your three-pointer. Also, this build, by going to 92 three-pointer, forces the mid-range up to 77, but as you're going to see, if you put the mid-range to 77 on this build, it unlocks that extra badge cap. Let's say you had to just put your mid-range up by one more to 78, and maybe for your build, that gives you an extra badge point. It's definitely worth to do stuff like that, if you ask me. You always want to test out those badge caps and stuff like that, but for this one, you have to go all the way to 80, which is probably not worth, to be honest, to get an extra one. So I would say if you want to just be a three hunting build that's all about threes and dunks, obviously 77 mid-range is pretty much the lowest you should go. And why is that? Well, because 92 three-pointer is absolutely the best budget probably in this game, if we're being completely honest. Like, as you can see, at 91 you get Green Machine and Deadeye at a higher level, which are both extremely good badges, especially Green Machine is in this game. I must say, I think this is one of the best shooting badges in the game, and the fact that it's in tier 2 is big time. But then at 92 you can get Gold Limitless range as well, and again, like I said, you get that extra badge point from that 90 to 91. I just think, don't get me wrong, I think 91 is a very good budget as well, but at that point, just go one more and get that Gold Limitless if you're playing like a point guard, or at this point, I mean, if you if you have 92 three-pointer and you didn't really care to have Gold Limitless, or if you had 91 and you didn't care for Gold Limitless, I'm not exactly sure what playstyle you are, because that's extremely weird. Now, if you are a lockdown or something like that, I would highly suggest to go for this 86 three-pointer for the Hall of Fame Claymore. I gotta say, I mean, as you can see, if you go any further, it's a little bit useless to go this far. Like, you'd have to go all the way to 89 for Hall of Fame Corner Specialist. And honestly, Agent 3 and Blinders doesn't really benefit you as a lockdown by any means, if you ask me. And I mean, really, like, as you can see, this is definitely what you want to shoot for. If you want to go a little bit lower, though, I guess I would say something like 82 is probably a good idea. You can get Catch and Shoot on 81, and then as you can see, Green Machine on Gold right there. You will not have Green Machine on Hall of Fame if you only go for this 86, but Green Machine is going to literally require you to get 91 three-pointer or a really like good mid-range of 90 as well. So I would just suggest pretty much between three-pointer, it's either 86 or 92 in my opinion as far as the ratings you want to shoot for. Now obviously there are some builds like a lock and a tall big or something like that, or poppers, that can't exactly get that 86 three-pointer, but that's just my suggestion. And honestly, I would say a lot of builds probably can get 86 three-pointer, because a 6'7" pure lock, maximum wingspan, all just one tick down on the wingspan, can get 86 three-pointer. And that's the build that I showed you guys with Apollo, his pure lock. Crazy build, really, really good for sure. And again, 86 three-pointer for that Claymore really is important, 100% for pure lockdowns, or just dudes that are going to sit in the corner and spot up on offense. As far as free throw, I think honestly anything between 60 to 70 is a pretty good rating to shoot for. For most builds, I would say you could probably get around 60. Even inside centers can get around 55 to 60 themselves. And obviously, for that matter, it's extremely cheap too. So it's a very good rating to just go ahead and upgrade. Really does not cost very much at all. Moving along to pass accuracy, 75 is the baseline in my opinion. I think you need to have 75. If you want to go for 70, I guess it's kind of understandable, but 75 is going to give you the LeBron James pass package, and I gotta say, it is probably the best one in the game. I gotta test a couple of the 85s personally. Like, I gotta test that LaMelo Ball and Magic Johnson one. The Magic one seems to be kind of a sellout when I've seen it on Zeke's build so far. So I haven't seen LaMelo yet, so I can't really vouch for 85 extremely hard. But look at the difference between 85 and 84. Like, you get Hall of Fame Dimer. It's also unbelievable how much faster your passes go for each threshold. Like, I have tested all types of stuff, like 60 to 65 to 70 on my big man, and then for my Ben Simmons type build, I've had 70 to 75 to 80, and then I've seen what Zeke's look like at 85, and I gotta say, like, it is a drastic improvement for each 5 that you go up. So I'm a big fan of the idea of having 85, where you can have that Hall of Fame Dimer in tier 1. Like, let's think about this for a second. You will play with some very bad people in this game most likely, and the fact that this only costs you 4 points to put on Hall of Fame is a really good budget in my opinion. But anyway, like I said, I think the baseline is 75, the best budget is 85. These are the two ones that I would shoot for. Unfortunately, even for going up 10 ratings on this, you only get 2 playmaking badges. And also, I should mention too, real quick, 86 is a very good budget as well. It's probably one more meant for a build like mine with the Simmons. I probably should have got it to 86 because it would have been really cool if I could have ran Hall of Fame Floor General. But really, the only thing as a point guard that you're getting that benefits you extremely is just to get the Gold Needle Threader in tier 1, which I gotta say seems to be a very good badge as well with the stuns that you get in the passes. I will explain that maybe in a tier list video, but anyway, enough pass accuracy. Like I said, I think 75, 85, or 86 is what you're looking at. Ball handle, I think the true blue, like absolute best value is 89. You get Hall of Fame quick first step just off of having this. You don't even have to have speed with ball. Like, as you can see, it could be all the way down here. You can still have Hall of Fame quick first step. It's pretty crazy. I think 89 ball handle gives you a lot of good SIGs as well. Now, to be fair, this is to be determined with other seasons as you unlock new animations and stuff like that, with like the Trae Young and the Steph Curry size up escape packages and stuff like that. But either way, as it currently stands, 89 is by far the best budget with playmaking for the ball handling. Another decent budget one would be 85, as you unlock, once again, a lot of packages at that level from 84 to 85. And as you can see, you get the quick first step on gold instead of silver, and handles for days on silver instead of bronze. That's definitely a big improvement. You also will still have unpluckable at gold for hitting that 84. So tying that in, honestly, the difference between 83 and 85 ball handles is extremely huge. So if you're in that area, it's a huge deal. I mean, even for that matter, you still have hyperdrive at 83 as well. So like 83, 84, and 85 gives you huge improvements. But like I said, 89 is definitely something I would shoot for if you can on most builds. Like even 6'8" can still get 89 ball handle. So I'm very sure, very positive that if you're a ball handler, you can definitely achieve 89 ball handle. So moving along, we have speed with ball. This is going to be one that's definitely just more up to you as far as what you want to do. I would recommend to try and max it for your build. Chances are, if you're like a 6'8", 6'7", stuff like that, you're going to have around 85 to 80 speed with ball between those two heights. 6'9", even slower. And obviously, I would say definitely recommend to max out your speed with ball. I mean, that's why these tall guards are moving so fast, yet obviously point guards are moving like super slow. Now, I will say though, I have seen a test from 2K Toots, and he was showing that speed with ball is not exactly what you think it is, where like acceleration is actually way more important for the short like window bursting, so to say, or speed boosting in small windows where you're going a little bit left, a little bit right, back and forth sorta. Speed with ball seems to be more like bringing the ball up the court or just running in a straight line for a long time. So I'm not going to sit here and steer you guys one way or the other extremely hard with speed of ball, because that could always get touched, always get patched. I don't want to be too controversial with it because it's in a weird state right now, but I would still recommend to go pretty high on this personally. But again, definitely depends on your role, 100%. But anyway, we're going to go ahead and change the build up real quick to reach new maximums for the defense and physicals and stuff like that. So we'll go ahead and just switch to that. All right, so I'm going to separate these, like the interior D and the block and the D board, O board, from the perimeter defense and steal, because it's hard to make a build that gets 99s in all of these categories. It's pretty much impossible for that matter. But anyway, as far as the perimeter defense and steal, like I said, we will come back to interior defense. Perimeter D and steal, you can see a massive difference between 85 and 86. Like, you get ankle braces, you get workhorse, you get challenger clamps, all that on a higher level from 85 to 86. This is a huge cap to hit as far as like your perimeter defensive ability. So again, 86, gigantic. And then for 87, you get the extra badge point and Hall of Fame menace. I'm not a huge fan of menace so far. It's hard to tell, to be honest. I still have to get a lot of testing in with that, especially like my build can still get it as well, even the 6'9". But again, still looking forward to testing that out a little bit. But either way, 86, 87, whatever you want to shoot for. If you want to get that extra badge point and menace on Hall of Fame, go for it. But anyway, what's really killer is going to be that 97 Prim D. I mean, you get Hall of Fame clamps, you get absolute just killers like challenger clamps on Hall of Fame. Same goes for steal, if we're being completely honest. Like, this moves in increments where I would say it's probably around like 80. I mean, honestly, steals have always kind of felt like it's increments of 70, 80, 90, and then 99. But in this year's game, you're going to get Silver Interceptor at 78. I feel like you may as well just go to 80 personally to get that cap, because this is always moved in an increment of like the 10s in my opinion. And then for that matter, at 90, you get Gold Interceptor. So this is another good threshold to hit as well. But at 99 steal, you're going to see you get Hall of Fame Glove and Hall of Fame Interceptor. These are devious badges, especially Glove. Glove is ruling these 2K streets right now, bro. It's kind of crazy. I mean, it's got these stage guards in shambles. I seen my boy AK going crazy on the timeline, going absolutely berserk on Twitter, complaining about the pluck steals. And to be fair, it's pretty justified, to be honest with you, but it is what it is. Again, we've been here before. Last year, the pluck steals were extremely good as well, and you know, they got nerfed, and it kind of screwed the game up, if you ask me. Now, I don't think pluck steals should be like a god tier sort of deal. I think it should be like the occasional thing where if you time it good, or if you like kind of do it at the right time and the placement and stuff like that. But to me, it kind of seems a little random. So I don't know if it's in a good place or not, but either way, it is what it is. I mean, I say just adapt to the game, adjust to the game, and just deal with it. But to be fair, I'm biased. I'm not a point guard, so either way. Anyway, enough talking about that. We're going to go ahead and revise the build real quick, showcase the interior defense, block, O-board, D-board, then we'll get the physicals after that. All right, so to start with the interior defense, I feel like personally, this is something that I just feel like is sort of up to your personal preference. Like, for instance, if you're not a screener, if you're just going to be playing as like a pick and popper or someone who spots up from the 3, you probably don't care about brick wall. So for you, I would say honestly something around like this badge cap right here of like 84, or maybe even lower personally, like maybe 76. I personally feel like interior defense is crazy good in this game. Now, I've seen a lot of people disagree with that. I don't know why. I've had a really good experience in this game on interior defense. For better and worse, I've been on close shots with a guard below my feet, and I'm way above him, like 7 inches taller, 8 inches taller, and I'm still getting contested, like by 15% and missing it half the time. So, I don't know. I guess it's probably because I don't have like Masher or something like that on at a super high level, or whatever the case may be. But either way, I think 76 interior defense is plenty good for Park. Now, again, if you want to shoot for that next badge cap, maybe go for like 84. You'll be really, really good. But if you do play as a center, you do play as a pick and roller, I think 89 is a really good threshold to hit. Like, this is going to give you that silver brick wall even without touching your strength. I will say, we'll go ahead and just give this away though real quick. Strength can actually get you brick wall as well at 76. And even if you go further to like 86, you can still get it on gold. Me personally though, I like to have speed on my bigs as much as the height possibly allows. So around the 76 strength or 89 interior defense is pretty much what I've shot for on both builds. And it gives me the silver brick wall. It's definitely doable. I like it, and it is what it is. So interior defense, like I said, 80 feels good on my builds. I've used it on both. I think it's plenty fine, but 89 is definitely what you want to shoot for if you want to be an elite interior defender. Anything past that might be a little bit overkill if you ask me, because it's not really tied to anything. Like, anchor is just block. It's not interior defense. Same with like, yeah, post move lockdown, but who really cares about post move lockdown? I mean, nobody's doing drop steps right now. They probably won't ever, for that matter. I mean, post hooks, I'll tell you what, Tonic is still shooting really good on those post hooks even after patch. So I don't know. I don't think you're going to see people doing post spins and drop steps and stuff like that like crazy, but who knows? There's definitely a niche for that in this community, 100%. But anyway, moving along to the block rating, I think 81, like I said, is what I've been rocking out with a little bit. On the Simmons build, it's exactly what I have as the maximum. It's this exact same situation right here. I get the extra badge point, and I just figured, why not? 81 block seems pretty good, so I just rocked out with that. What I do recommend, though, as far as like an elite level of block, is going to be 93. So at 93, you're going to get that gold anchor right there, and obviously, as you can see, past 93 all the way up to like some crazy levels, you really don't gain anything until 99. So really, like, are you going to go all the way to 98 block for Hall of Fame pogo stick? I think not. Are we going to go all the way to 99 for Hall of Fame anchor? I also think not. So to me, 93 is a really good threshold to hit for that gold anchor, and it's as simple as that. Now for the rebounding, this depends on your style, in my opinion. No matter what your rebound rating is, I would say 85 is a very good threshold to hit for like mediocre to very solid rebounding level, because it's going to give you that silver rebound chaser. And as you can see, if you get to 82, you can get box out beast on gold as well. So pretty much to go to 85 is a really good threshold to hit for mediocre to decent rebounding level. If you want to go really good though, you can get 93 and get rebound chaser on gold, but I do recommend to go one higher and get box out beast on Hall of Fame, because this is killer. It's a really good badge, amazing budget, probably the best budget in the whole game for bigs. In most situations, if you're an undersized big, or maybe even for taller bigs, it's able to be in tier 1 and tier 2. So it's a very cheap, affordable badge that's so freaking good. It's crazy. I mean, it's literally worm and box tied into one thing. And for that to be in tier 1 for 4 badge points on Hall of Fame is absolutely ridiculous. Now, what I want to say as far as the, I would say, value, right, or budgeting, personally, this is what my build looks like. I have 81 defensive rebound and 94 O-board on my Ben Simmons build, because I plan to play as a lockdown on defense, and I have really good perimeter D and steal and stuff like that on that build. So the plan for me is to guard ball on defense, yet be an offensive rebounder, because I have 25 three-pointer on that build. So offensive rebound is extremely important to me. Whereas on a popper build, where you're maybe an outside center, it's extremely, like, way more important to have defensive rebound upgraded. And O-board is something that you're probably not going to be extremely invested in, because you're going to be around that three-point line very often when your guards are putting up shots, or maybe you're the one shooting the ball, and at that point, what is O-board even worth? Because you're not going to track down the rebound off your own shot, most likely, in a lot of situations. So again, I think for the value and the budget in that situation, you definitely want to just ration out what are you going to be rebounding. What style is more important to you between the O and D. So keep that in mind. But yeah, like I said, 94 and 85, really good thresholds to hit for the rebounding. As far as speed and acceleration and stuff like that, I'm gonna just put it like this. If you're a lock, if you're a big, max out your speed. Simple as that. If you're a point guard though, I will say, speed does not get tied to speed with ball. It's not like how it was in current gen where it's like speed and ball handle, combo up, and that equals your speed with ball. As you can see, there's literally a freaking rating for this. I was so surprised to see how many dudes at this 2K event, the comp stage dudes for that matter too. I won't drop any names, but I could not believe how many people at Community Day thought that like you had to have elite speed on your point guard because it's like gonna tie into how fast you move with the ball. That's crazy. That's so crazy to me that they didn't know that there's literally a rating for speed with ball, even though they're literally in this freaking builder right here. So anyway, that's odd. But anyway, like I said, if you're a point guard, you can maybe choose to like cut out on this because it's not as important to you in how you move with the ball. Speed is all about how do you move off ball. Offensively and for defense is extremely important as well. So that's why I say centers and like locks, shooting guards, stuff like that, it's really nice to have. Now, acceleration is the opposite of that. If you're a big man, if you're a lock, if you have no ball handle, like let's say this is you right here, these two ratings, 25 ball handle, 30 speed with ball. Do not touch your acceleration. Put that all the way to the minimum that you still can with having max speed because it's extremely useless. It's only for having the ball in your hand. So if you're a point guard, you want to have this at an elite level. If you're a lock or a big who doesn't have any ball handle on you, don't even touch it. And I will say though, it's extremely cheap towards your ratings. So if you are someone that's kind of in the middle of it, like I am with the Simmons build or with my Giannis build, and I'm upgrading acceleration on both of those because it's extremely cheap and I'm still a ball handler with them as well. So anyway, that's kind of my take on speed and excel. For strength, this actually is tied to a couple badges, like I said, so it's kind of cool. But anyway, let me just take the interior D down to go ahead and give that example. So for strength, like I said, you're gonna see you obviously have back down Punisher, and then you have brick wall on silver from this 75 to 76. And then all the way up to 86 strength, you unlock the gold brick wall and the gold back down Punisher as well. So it's definitely like thresholds you can shoot for. I don't think they're extremely important though. Personally, I'm not a huge fan of like bully either. I will say though, like I think you get bully on gold at 89 strength, and that's maybe doable for some builds like that. 82 is also extremely doable, and then 74 is pretty doable as well if you're maybe a max speed slasher or something like that. Me personally, I'm not super invested in this badge right here. I don't believe in its like overpoweredness, so to say. I believe you can defend it well as long as you play defense well, personally. But that's just me. I haven't really used it that much myself because I, again, really want to have max speed slashers, max speed inside bigs, because speed's important to me, 100%, especially in that regard. But anyway, as far as your vertical, this is going to be something that you want to be able to get all of the like dunk animations if you have them. Now, if you don't have dunk animations and you're just an outside point guard or you're just like someone who doesn't care about dunking, I would say that vertical is very good for helping you get jump contest, aka if your vert is all the way down to like 25, which I don't know how the heck you'd even do that in this game because that means you have 55 speed, which is bad. But if your vert was all the way down to 25, your jump contests are horrible on like perimeter jump shot contest. So I do think this is a solid thing to have, but again, maybe like 50 can even cut it on this stuff like that. Now, you're not gonna do anything crazy though when it comes to jump contesting. Like my builds have around 85 to 90 vert on both of them, and they fly everywhere. And I'm a believer in the fact that vert helps you with rebounding. I'm a believer in the fact that vert helps you with dunking. I believe that it helps you with chase down blocks, just blocks in general, jumping on the perimeter. So in my opinion, vertical is extremely useful, and I do apologize that I'm not giving you guys any like specific ratings for speed, excel, vert, and stam, but to be real, they don't like cap anything as far as badges go. And really, like I said, for vert, you definitely want to shoot for at least the minimums for contact dunks. So like I said, for the pros, you want 75 on the pro contacts, and then you want 83 at least for all the elite contacts. It's really weird that they dropped that by 2 this year, but anyway, again, 83 gives you all of those. I am a little bit uneducated when it comes to the smalls. I think you might actually need more vert, like maybe 86 or something like that, 87. I'm not exactly sure, but either way, I mean, I'm agree with you guys. Making a small slasher is not a good thing in this year. I just think having the small contact dunk packages is definitely a tough scene. Just if you make a build like that, it's already tough, but you could go ahead and look into that yourself if you're really curious. Moving on to stamina though, this is going to be something that I just recommend to max out. I mean, it's so cheap. It's so freaking cheap. Look at this. Like, I could go all the way from 25 to 98, and it literally just cost me 1 attribute cap. That's it. And maybe if you want to drop like 1 or 2 stamina, just off the fact that it's maybe a little bit more expensive than the mini ones are, like from all the way to 25 to like 50, it's probably cost you like absolutely nothing. As you keep moving through it, it's going to be more and more expensive, just like any attribute rating, but it's hard to see because, like I said, it's such an easy budget. So me personally, every build that I ever make is going to be maxed out speed. If not, maybe I drop 1 or 2 caps off just to fill into a couple really like budgeted out ratings, or maybe I need to get like 1 more speed with ball for a badge cap, or like 1 more like post control or standing dunk for a badge cap. So I would just say I like to max out stamina personally. But anyway, that's all for the video. I hope y'all enjoyed. If you did, for drop a like, sub if you're new to noties, all that good stuff. Like always, try to 2,000 likes. And if you made it to the end of the video, I know this is a very long one, put budget or put value in the comments. So it supports me all the way through. But anyway, like I said, I appreciate you guys supporting on this. Last year it went crazy, and that was literally just 3 months ago, and it was very late in the year. So I'm assuming this will be a video that does really well, because it's a great idea if I have to boast it. Pretty heavy, but anyway, I do appreciate you guys watching, and I may update this later in the year if I have different opinions, or just any feedback or ideas change and stuff like that, or meta builds, whatever the case may be. So anyway, that's all for vid. Hope y'all enjoyed. None of that, take it easy, man. Peace.